Hey everybody, in this video I'll be going over basic memos, specifically lesson 62-58. And so this week's lesson does tell you that you should refer to lessons 23 and 25 in the Word Manual, as well as reference manual R-4D. And so I'll start just by showing you briefly the Word Manual lessons 23 and 25 because you can do this on your own. Okay, and it just gets you familiar with bolding for lesson 23. Okay, and this is what lesson 25 looks like. More importantly is the reference manual because that's going to show you the format. So reference manual R-4D. I did open it up in the eText. So in the Vital Source eText link, if you click on reference manual, you can just scroll through until you see R-4 or manually type in R-4 and then look for the correct one. So R-4D is the memo. So here we have a down arrow with 5x indicating that we need to always start by pressing enter 5 times at the top of the document. We're going to type in memo 2 and a colon in caps and bold. Same thing for from, date, and subject. It's also important to note, and this was in the learning materials section, that you need to press tab after the colon following each of these. And notice that each of these are aligned. So Nancy Price is aligned here, Arlen is aligned here, same thing with July and new plant site. So let's get started with 62-58. So we're still in Unit 13, Lesson 62, and I'll open Correspondence 62-58. Okay, it tells us what page we should be referring to in our eText. Also, make sure that you don't change any of the default word settings when you open this up. And you always have to open it up from within GDP. In this case, we're starting from scratch. And let's take a look at the instructions here. And I believe this is page 239 in your eText. Just like with lesson 61, just because it looks like this in the eText doesn't mean that you're going to type it looking like this. It has to match the format in the reference manual. So remember, we start by pressing enter 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll type in memo 2, the colon, and then tab, and then I'll type in the person's name, Min Hung Dai. I'm going to press enter 2 times after his title of theater manager. And then I'll type in from, again, all caps, a colon. When I press tab, notice that it only tabs to right here. So I need to press tab 1 more time so that it is perfectly aligned with his name. So Barbara Cornell, Executive Director. Again, I'll press enter twice and I will fix my spelling. That's going to be date, colon. Again, when I press tab, it only goes far this much, so I need to press it 1 more time. This is March 1st, 2025. Again, I'll press twice, enter twice, and finally is the subject. So subject, colon. In this case, because subject is kind of long, I only had to press tab 1 time for it to be perfectly aligned. and then I'll press enter 2 times before I start typing the paragraphs. So now that I have my memo headings, I'm going to bold each of these. So memo 2, including the colon, that's going to be bold. Same thing for from and the colon. Date and the colon is also going to be bolded, as well as subject and the colon. Now I can start typing the rest of this memo here. And here we have the completed document. Just as a reminder again, wherever you see the URS, and so let's open up my eText, you put your own reference initials. Just your first and last in lowercase. Once you're done, make sure to save this to a location you remember, and then upload it to your GDP 62-58 assignment.